Well, hey there, guys, and welcome to the movie vlog. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, breaking down everything going on in the world of movie news for you today. And we're going to start off with this. We've heard for a while now that the New Mutants, a spin-off, if you will, within the X-Men universe, was going to be coming to the big screen. Well, now it's as real as it's going to get, because as of today, the New Mutants has begun shooting. Now, if you don't really know anything about the New Mutants, in basic terms, they're younger students at Xavier's School for the Gifted, where the X-Men all went to school and grew up, and now they're X-Men. Now you got these younger kids, and they're the New Mutants. Now, the cast for the New Mutants includes Anya Taylor-Joy from the movie Split and that great, wonderful horror film, The Witch. She's playing Magic. Macy Williams from Game of Thrones is playing Wolfsbane. Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things, he was Will's big brother Jonathan as the co-leader of the team Cannonball. And Blue Hunt from the originals playing Moonstar. As of right now, Fox has a tentative release date for the New Mutants on April 13th in 2018. Now, that's actually not that far away when you're actually considering they just started shooting the movie today. As an interesting little side note, in the comic books, the New Mutants were actually the team that X-Force came out of, led of course by Cable, who's going to be appearing in the new Deadpool movie. You're starting to see how everything's sort of connected. In recent years, with the huge success of films like X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, Deadpool, and the most recent Logan, it's clear that Fox is really going all in with this X-Men universe, and going in the direction of something like New Mutants and X-Force seems to be the next logical step, and that's what they're doing. I actually think this is pretty interesting. Remember, Fox, you might think well, all they have is the X-Men. Yeah, but the X-Men makes up literally hundreds of characters that Fox has at their own disposal to make their own cinematic universe. They'll never be in a position like Sony was, where they need to go crawling back to Marvel and partner up with them to make like a Spider-Man Homecoming. That won't need to happen. Now, as long as Fox keeps putting out films like First Class, Days of Future Past, Logan, and Deadpool, then that's all well and good. As long as they don't keep putting out movies like X-Men 3 or X-Men Age of Apocalypse. To be honest, I'm actually really kind of excited about this. This is a terrific cast, it's a terrific premise, and let's see what Fox can do with it. All right, we move on to the next subject, which is Steven Spielberg, my all-time favorite director, and the director that I think is probably the greatest filmmaker of all time. Of course, he's working on his adaptation of the novel Ready Player One, and they just released, thanks to the good folks over at Ain't It Cool, the first official logo of the movie. I think this looks kind of spectacular. It's kind of got that fun vibe to it. I'm digging it so far. The movie's a little under a year away from being released. It comes out on March 30th, 2018, and being a Steven Spielberg film, and being that it's based on Ready Player One, I cannot wait to see this. If you don't know anything about Ready Player One, I highly suggest maybe jumping over to Amazon and buying the book, but to give you a little bit of a primer, it's basically this. It's set in a somewhat of a dystopian future where, fossil fuels have run out, there's a whole bunch of economic chaos in the world, and the biggest thing going is this virtual reality multiplayer game called The Oasis, right? And people just kind of live in there to escape the grimness of reality. Anyway, the guy who created Oasis passes away. And he left in his will the fact that he left a special Easter egg somewhere inside the game, and whoever finds it gets to inherit the game and his fortune and his company. So it's kind of like a little bit of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory meets The Matrix meets Hunger Games, all kind of rolled into one. The movie just also happens to be boasting an incredible looking cast with TJ Miller, Simon Pegg, Ben Mendelsohn, Ty Sheridan, Olivia Cooke, and of course the Academy Award winning Mark Rylance. And our third topic today, we go from New Mutants starting to shoot their movie to another big film wrapping up shooting. It's been reported that Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom has wrapped principal photography. Both directors J.A. Bayona and producer Frank Marshall took to Twitter to put up these kind of fun-looking tweets to let the world know, hey, we're done shooting this damn thing. Not a hell of a lot is known about this new Jurassic World movie, but Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are both returning, and of course, Jeff Goldblum makes his return to the franchise, reprising his role that we've all loved him as. Now, I'll admit, I'm excited for this movie for a couple of reasons. Number one, director J.A. Bayona. Not only did he do a terrific job with The Orphanage, but then he put out one of the best films last year with A Monster Calls that was just flat out underrated because it was absolutely brilliant. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, I highly recommend you do so. But I'm also excited for it because, you know what? I like Jurassic World. No, it wasn't like one of my top 10 all-time favorite movies or anything like that. I didn't think it was a spectacular revisiting of the Jurassic Park mythology, but I thought it was fun and entertaining, and I overall had a really good time with it. And since the box office numbers were so huge, it kind of looks like most people did too. Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom hits theaters on June 22nd, 2018. Next up, one of the movies we've all been looking forward to in 2017 is, of course, The Dark Tower, starring Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba, and a new trailer has just dropped. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm super excited for this movie. I can't wait to see it. The first round of trailers really didn't do much for me, and this new trailer also didn't do a whole lot for me. Look, I still believe that this movie is going to be incredible and awesome, but for whatever reason, they just can't seem to find that pulse with the trailers they've been putting out. Now, this newest trailer that they just put out seems to be more focused on the action and the mayhem and the intensity and all that kind of stuff, and that's great, but the thing that makes The Dark Tower so special and the story of The Dark Tower isn't the heart-pounding action, it's the story and the characters, and for whatever reason, I just feel like they haven't been able to capture that in their trailers. Here's hoping this is another one of those situations where maybe the trailers weren't so good, but the movie itself is dynamite. I can't wait to see it. Of course, The Dark Tower opens in theaters on August 4th. And finally, on today's episode of the Movie Vlog, we're going to talk a little bit about Barry Jenkins finally announcing his new movie. Now, of course, Barry Jenkins shocked the world last year at the Academy Awards when his movie, Moonlight, lost, and then a few seconds later won the Academy Award for Best Picture. I will never forget that as long as I live. That was one of the greatest moments in Oscar history. And I was really excited for him too, because honestly, I do feel that Moonlight deserved to win over La La Land. I liked La La Land very, very much, but I liked Moonlight just a little bit better. Well, now we know what movie Jenkins will be directing next. It's going to be based on James Baldwin's novel, If Beale Street Could Talk. Now, if the author's name James Baldwin sounds familiar, it's because he was the subject of last year's Oscar-nominated documentary, I Am Not Your Negro. And now he's got a novel being turned into a movie by Barry Jenkins. How cool is that? The official synopsis for If Beale Street Could Talk reads like this. The film is the story of Tish, a newly engaged Harlem woman who races against the clock to prove her lover's innocence while carrying their firstborn child. It is a celebration of love told through the story of a young couple, their families, and their lives, trying to bring about justice through love, for love, and the promise of the American dream. On top of winning Best Picture, Jenkins also took home an Academy Award for screenwriting. This guy is a fantastic storyteller, and whatever he was going to do next, I would be excited about. This sounds fantastic to me. I can't wait to see what he does with it. All right, guys, that'll do it for me in this installment of the Movie Vlog. Thanks for joining me. What do you think of any or all of these topics that we talked about here today? Please make sure to jump into the comments section and leave your thoughts and opinions. And while you're here, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you're following me on social media, on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at John Campea. That'll do it for me for today, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me, and until next time, bye-bye.